Good morning, my friends. Welcome back to my channel and welcome to Trashcraft Tuesday. I'm really excited about today's project. I've been having a little play around with these little packets. These are little promotional packets that one of the supermarkets in our country is currently running. I believe it could be in Australia as well. Little collector cards, and these are Disney ones, Disney, Pixar, Marvel, Star Wars. And I just love these little packets. So I keep the packets, so you get the cards inside them. I carefully cut them open at the top. And these are also a supermarket promotion, but from a couple of years ago now. And I've still got a bunch of them, like I've still got lots. And I'm going to be working with these new ones, but just to show you for this project, the size isn't overly critical. Like, you don't want them big because we're going to be using 3 on a page. Let's measure the small one. So I've taken off, it's got this sort of sealed strip at the top, so I'm leaving that strip on the bottom. So these are approximately just over 4 inches or 10.5 centimeters by 7 centimeters or 2 3/4 inches. So that's that size, which I will be working with, but this size will also work. And this is 3.5 inches by 9 centimeters. Like, I'm just rounding here, they're not precise because precise doesn't matter. By 12 centimeters or 4 5/8 of an inch. Okay, so just to give you an idea, I am thinking that obviously not everybody's going to have these types of little bags, whether it's from these promotions or some other little similar product that you might have in your country. You can make these. So I am thinking I might do a second video soonish where I actually make the bases. And if we make the bases, then there's a few or at least one step that we won't have to do that we have to do today. Does that make sense? Let me know if you'd like to see a project where we actually make the bases. I'm thinking it would be a good idea, but if you disagree, let me know, and then I just won't bother with that. But these ones here, we need 3. So 3, whether you're making or have something similar, we need 3 of them. I'm going to take one of them, and these have a little flap here on the back, and I want to glue that down on one of them so it's not flapping around loose. So we're going to do a bit of prep work first. So first off is gluing this little seam down. And as I was playing with these and thinking, what can I do with them? What can I, what can I make? I was really pleased with what I came up with. So I hope you like the idea that I came up with, which will be revealed all in due course. Right, so just gluing that down. You could use glue stick or whatever you like to do that. It is joined at the bottom, so like you can't lift the whole flap up on these unless you trimmed the bottom off. But I want the bottom because it's an interesting little feature. Okay, so you only need to do that on one. Okay, and this is going to be our top one. So I need to remember which way round this goes. Just going to write on the back so I don't make a mistake. Top, and that's on the back, so it's not going to be seen. And I've chosen out some napkins, some serviettes to decorate these with or to cover them with. You can slightly see the image and the text behind, but not majorly. I've gone with a dark colour, but I wanted something that's fairly light because by the time we've constructed this bit of ephemera and then fill it with bits and pieces, it's going to be quite bulky. So I want to take steps to reduce the bulk, and one of the steps is using napkin to cover them with, rather than like copy paper or something which has got a little bit more weight to it. So just going to take each bag cover it with glue stick. These also are probably not exactly the same height. I know these ones for certain aren't, because I can tell by the green strip at the top. Like this has got a reasonable bit of green strip, that one's got less, and this one's got no green strip. So it doesn't matter if they're not exactly the same height. The same width would be the thing, I think, is, I mean, even then though, you could use different widths if you wanted to, and it would give a different look. But I think for me, maybe sticking to the same width. Right, so just going to plop this down. I don't want to waste serviettes, so I'm trying to line up the edges a little bit. Give it a little press. Now I want 2 in this particular napkin. So I want to go for the top one. The top one, do I need to cover the whole thing? Probably technically not, but I'm going to. Just in case I make a mistake, I'm just going to cover the whole thing. Just going to lay that over top, leaving a gap between the 2 little bags. So that I don't have any issues cutting them apart. Okay, so the top and bottom one are going to be in that one, and then I've got this plain blue, which is going to be the middle one of the 3. Okay, so far so good. Not terribly complicated so far. I don't think the project as a whole is complicated, really. I think it's going to be fun. I think it's going to turn out. So this is a lot more obvious with the words through it, but that's fine. Give that a bit of a smush down. I think we can put that aside. Okay, so let's leave that one for a moment. Go back to this one. Okay, and we can get rid of this off the desk. Oops, if I fold it the right way. It's a beautiful serviette, that one. It's really pretty. Right, we'll just cut this one out while we're here, just roughly, so we can put the excess to the side. Been a bit crumpled, that one. Okay, so let's quickly cut these out without cutting our bags. So first I'm going to just cut those apart. And this is the first one I glued down, so it will be the driest. So I'm just very carefully allowing the edge of my scissors to travel along the edge of the bag, which hopefully reduces the risk of cutting into the bag itself. It's not guaranteed by any stretch of the imagination. Oh, come on, okay, pick things up. My fingernails are just terrible right now. They keep breaking. They're really short, and even so they keep breaking. And I was blaming all sorts of things on why my nails have gone this way again. And I was thinking, is it the nail wraps? And I was like, I can't see how it could be. Is it because I've skipped a couple of doses of my calcium and my collagen lately? You know, there were a couple of days there where I either forgot or ran out of time, or, you know, and it's like, oh, I haven't had my supplements. And yes, that probably is a factor. I would 100% say that does play a role, that I've missed a few doses here and there. But I recently had blood tests, my annual blood tests, and the doctor rang me and says that my thyroid medication is not sufficient currently. It's not doing the the job that it needs to, so I need to take additional medication. And one of the side effects of the hyperthyroidism, hypo, can never remember which way around it goes. Whichever one I've got, one of the side effects is brittle nails, brittle hair. And I was like, yep, okay, that's the main issue, is that my thyroid is not well controlled right now. So yeah, so that will be the main cause, and it's been bugging me, and I've been blaming myself that I'm not doing the right things, or, you know, so often we go that direction. It's like, oh, it's my fault. In actual fact, there's nothing I could do about it. Like, thyroid is its own thing. It does what it wants to or doesn't want to, and we can't control it. If there's thyroid issues, it needs medication. For some people, surgery. Not for me, fortunately. But, you know, so often we blame ourselves on these things and go, oh, I'm just not taking care of myself enough. No, that's not it at all. Well, as I said, it probably does play a part. Okay, so this is our top one. And this is just a bit of coffee dyed paper that I've folded into a signature page. So this is our top one. It's going to go like that. Then our middle one is going to go something like that. And then our bottom one. So work out your spacing however you want them. Kind of roughly appropriate. I find it easy to do it from the back because you can line it up at the same point and get an even sort of spacing, like so. So before we glue them together, I need to think about what we want to decorate with, because you might want to tuck it under slightly so it peeks out the top, rather than just like have a strip here, you know, kind of make it a bit more integrated is probably the term. Now, I have not thought what I want to decorate with, actually. Thinking, do I want flowers? I actually don't know. Let's have a little play for a moment. These are from Artzology on Etsy. I don't want anything too large. You see, even this smaller one might be just a bit too large. Might be fine on the front. Although that's kind of cute peeping up there, isn't it? So I'm going to do that. I'm not even going to ink around it. Would you believe? I am choosing not to ink. And this is going to help obscure that text and bits and pieces that are showing through the napkin. And it will just, the rest of what is showing just becomes background texture and pattern. You could also cover these with those very thin book pages, you know, like encyclopedia pages or dictionary pages that are super thin. They would be good to cover these little bags with as well, without adding too much bulk. I'm just going to trim off the overhang there. I'm trying to pick up the tiniest fragments off my desk. Right, so there's that. Wherever we end up placing the top bag, which I'll do from the back. I like the color contrast, bringing in that bit of yellow. I think is quite pretty with the blue. This one's not printed properly. Oops, and it's upside down. I don't think it's as vibrant enough because it was a misprint. Do we have the proper version of it? Or what about this one? This one's... That's quite nice. Okay, we'll need to trim a bit off again once it's down, but that's okay. Just the tips of some of the leaves will need to be pruned back, shall we say. So how's your week going so far? It's springtime here in New Zealand. I am so excited. And yes, equinox is not until the 22nd, and meteorologically, if I can pronounce that word, spring can be said not to start until then. But, you know, in the man-made calendar of making things quite arbitrary, the 1st of September here in New Zealand is the 1st of spring. So every season has 3 months, and September the 1st is the beginning of spring. And I have to say, it is very spring-like, and I live for spring. Like, I love, love, love spring. So I will take the soonest opportunity to call it spring that I can take. I'm not going to wait for the 22nd when I can call it spring now. And there's daffodils and lambs, and the weather's definitely warmer. We're supposed to get to 22 degrees, I think, here today. Whether it does or not, I don't know. We're already getting the big summer winds, the big nor'westers that normally happen in summer. We've had probably a week of them already. And so end of winter, getting summer type winds, but cold, not hot, because they're coming off snow, so they are cold. But they've been gale force, so there's a number of fires going. That is really quite disturbing, since we are nowhere near summer. You know, it's a bit of a worry. And it's basically people burning off their stuff on their farms and that, or forestry blocks, and thinking it's extinguished, and then days later when these big winds hit, it's reigniting them. And we've got one currently burning. It's been going since Thursday night. It's all probably about 15 minutes away from us, so not, you know, not too close that it's a danger for where I am. But it's like, it was contained to 105 hectares on Friday, and then yesterday afternoon they made a post saying it's no longer contained. It has broken containment, so it's larger than 105 hectares, which is a significant area. Fortunately, not near any houses or anything. It's all forestry block. Right, so just need something up the top there. Oops. I think we might have to use the top of something again. I'm looking for the yellow. This one again is a misprint, but we could just like pop that there. I kind of like that. This time I'm going to trim off some of that excess in there, because we don't need it. Is this worth keeping? It could be an interesting little collage snippet, so we will keep that. And then kind of want to just take that off as well. Okay, maybe I shouldn't have done that so straight. So let's give it a bit more of a shape. Otherwise it looked a bit funky on that edge. It was like, no, that's way too straight, and it's obvious that it goes through an image. That's better, much better. So just giving it a little bit of a shape, and it becomes a lot more natural, and it doesn't matter whether it follows what was there or not. It just helps it look better, I believe. Yes, it's spring. I'm so excited for spring. Like, yay. You know, still having to light the fire, but not as much. I'm sitting here in the morning and it's warm enough that I'm, you know, my hands aren't frozen. They're cool, but they're not frozen. No fire going. So super cool. Okay, that's looking good so far. We could decorate this up more, but we can do that after the fact once it's all down on the page. I don't think it's fine. Anything else I want to add? I think it might be easier to do my next step without them glued together. Whoops. Bit of some gluey residue somewhere. Not sure where that was coming from. Oh, there it is. Where did you come from, glue? Just rub it off because I don't want it sticking to anything. There we go, that's better. Right, so normally in pockets, or quite often in pockets, we'll do the thumb notch, won't we? We'll take a little half circle out to show where we can put things in and out and to help our fingers navigate the pocket. I'm going to do something a little different, and I was cutting out some of the Junk Journal Studios digitals this morning while I was watching YouTube after breakfast, and this is one of the freebies that Michelle from the Junk Journal Studio has that partners with the Botanical Collage and Cluster Mega Pack, the blue add-on or add-on blue. This freebie is available over on her Ko-fi page. And it's got these wee hinges. Now, I've used the larger hinges in a project. It is a design team project. And I was cutting out these smaller versions of the hinges. And it was like, I wonder. And I had an idea. So I think I'm going to use the brown and the yellow and the blue, because I think they work the best with the colours I've got going on here. I'm going to fold them in half. And they're quite small, so it's a little bit tricky because the first one, the red one that I pre-folded to see if it would work, I got it matched up and went to fold it and it went beep and folded at an angle. So kind of got to just gently hold it and ease it in half. So we're going to whip through and do that to all of these. Now, there is a reason for doing this as opposed to the thumb notch, but all will become clear, I hope. So fold those three in half. Bit fiddly with the small size, and if you don't have this printable, well, it is free, so you can pop along. I'll link it in the description box below. But if you can't print, you could use a whale tail or just cut a bit of paper in a tab shape or whatever, you know, options. It's up to you. Right, so what order do I want these in? I think I might put the blue one at the top. Just for contrast's sake, because the blue, if I put it on the bottom or the top one, the blue is going to be sitting basically on top of blue, whereas at the top it's going to be sitting against the coffee dye. Okay, so just thinking about things logically, I am not going to ink around them. If there's any white showing once I've glued them on, I can just go in and give them a little brush, but I think they are quite cool as they are. Right, so I'm going to slide it in the pocket and about to where the bits go out on the side there, if you can see what I mean, the widest point. Kind of hopefully center it. That's not really centered. That will have to do. Okay, so I do have a little bit of white showing. I can just come in and take care of that. Dull down the white a bit. I'll probably end up going and inking, you know, because I'm an inker. Right, so let's do this one. And the ink does actually look nice on these. And let's try and get this centered from the start this time. It's looking a bit better, I think. And just because they're not symmetrical, there's a shadow on one side of the little hinges, which I left intact. So there's a shadow on this side of the hinge and not on this side. You could trim it down so that there's no shadow, but I left it on. It's just a cool wee detail, I think. Right, now for our top one. It's something a little different than the thumb notch, or not doing that, you know, just leaving them straight. Just a little something different. I thought was a bit fun, bit cute, and another good way to use these little hinges, which are super fun. Really nice design feature. So hopefully these are pretty much in line with each other, but I suspect they're not going to be. But you know, handmade. Oops, that one's not even straight. Let's straighten it up a little bit. There we go. That one is not so bad in terms of the white. I managed quite well with that one. Here we go. So when you're putting these on, make sure you do go in. Oh, darn it. How did I manage that? Good thing I was going to tell you is make sure you go inside the pocket. Just need to double check these ones now. Yeah, you don't want to put it over the back. You want to make sure it goes inside the pocket. Otherwise, you're essentially closing your pocket with your little hinge there. So yeah, make sure it goes inside. Phew, good catch. My goodness, I had a little panic then, thinking, oh my gosh. But fortunately, the glue was still fresh enough I could peel it up. I need a sip of my coffee after that. Ah, yes. Right. Okay, let's start constructing these. So this one is our back one, our top one, shall we say. And okay, so I've got to think. I go this way, so layer them that way, then I can line them up. And line them up with this. An eye, that's not stuck down properly. Let's stick that down. Just the edge there, I didn't manage to get glue on or something. Here we go. So your top one needs to be the one that's closest to the page. Okay, so layer them up this way, front ways, then flip them over. Line them up how you want them to sit on the page. So space them out so that they fit within the page and that you've got space at the top to put something in that top pocket. And if you want them evenly spaced, then line them up, you know, choose a spot, or if you don't have anything on the back to line them up with, measure and make a pencil mark or something. So I think that's looking pretty good. So I'm going to choose to line them up at the top of this little barcode here. So for this, I am going to, now I've got to think in my prototype how I did this. Yeah, I just want to glue basically where that seam is down the middle. Whoops, too far. Don't need to go below the barcode. So wipe that off. So just down that middle. And line it up, glue it on. And then again down that seam in the middle. And our top one lined up there. Okay. So a little bit of head thought there just to make sure that we put things around the right way. Okay, take away any glue that's oozing outside of your bags. Okay, so we've got here a little stack of bags that opens out a little bit. So once it's glued down, we're going to be gluing it on as a belly band. Okay, starting to come together, starting to come together. So I'm going to glue this down on the page now. Just glue at the top here and glue at the bottom. So I'm going to go just above that decorative strip because it's textured. So I want to glue on the flat area there. Center it on the page roughly. I just want to make sure this pocket doesn't close in the process. So I'm calling this a pocket stack belly band, is what I'm calling it. And I thought that was quite a, not too long a name for it, and quite descriptive, quite accurate in terms of what it is. So we now have this pocket arrangement with quite a bit of movement in. There's less movement in the top because it's glued down, but these two, you know, they pull out a bit. You see that? They pull out a bit. So the wee tab here helps you, like you can put, it doesn't have to stick out the top of the pocket if you don't want to, because you can open it out a little bit and get in there to pull a journal card or a tag or something. But I think still having them pop outside out the top is probably what I would choose to do. But it's just a fun little something different, don't you think? Just a little different. Now these little white dots where you would put screws or things, you could use something like liquid dots or gems or something. I have found that just a metallic gel pen works really well. So I'm just hunting for my gold one. I think you could use gold, silver, or whatever colour you like. You could use purple if you want, depending on what colours you're working with. And I just colour those little spaces in with the metallic gel pen, and that works really well. I'm not going to bother doing the back side because we're not really going to be looking at that. It will be visible, but we won't be, you know, you only got to look at it if you kind of peel it back and kind of go, oh yeah, there's white dots there. Not important. Not for me anyway, but by all means, if you want to do the back side as well, do it before you glue them together. Okay, so that's our little stack of pockets. Plus we have, I'll use one of these bags, a belly band in behind. So this is why we glued the seam down on this top bag all the way down. If we didn't, then we would run into that seam and our piece wouldn't go all the way through because it would catch on that seam. So gluing that top one down, the rest don't matter because there's only a small section where it's not glued down. And likelihood of putting a small piece of ephemera sideways in quite a large belly band is not, you know, we're likely not to do that. So there we have it. We have a pocket stack belly band. I'm not going to try saying that 5 times quickly. Might add a little label or something. I think that might be a nice addition. I do actually like it as it is. But that could be quite nice too. Just a little label of something. I'm kind of looking at the words on it going, is that what I want on there? I've got this map one. Actually, I like the colours in that. That works really nicely for me. So I'm just going to pop that down the bottom. And I think that is going to be good. I like it just as it is. So it's not too complicated. There is that little bit of, you know, just making sure you get things in the right order. gluing down anything that's going to catch, and making sure that the stack fits inside your page and that you've still got room to put something in that top pocket. So you don't want it right up to the top of the page and then you've got no room to put. Gosh, I can't get my words out, friends. You've probably noticed, because I certainly have, for the last couple of weeks I've been fumbling my words terribly. Okay, well, that's it. And that's a short video, but that's okay. We could go ahead and put some stuff in the pockets, I guess. Or shall we just make something to go in behind? Maybe that's what we'll do. I might have a masterboard we can use as a base. Let me have a wee look. Oh, what about this masterboard? Colours are a bit different, aren't they? Maybe not. What else? Here's a book page masterboard. Have to cut it down a bit, but that's okay. So go about there, I think. It would be nice to still have a usable piece that I'm cutting off, and I think that would be a reasonable tag size. The bit we're not going to be using, we'll go about there. Width-wise, or we might need to take just a smidge off for the width. We'll go about there, just completely arbitrary. It's not back, so let's do that. Bit of coffee dyed paper. So we may as well at least put something in behind the belly band, and then you can kind of see. So this is why I went with the serviette, because by the time we've got the 3 pockets with something in each pocket and then something in the belly band, there is, you know, quite a number of layers. But most of it is removable, so writing shouldn't be an issue, even if you do like really bulk it out, because I need tacky glue as well. Because we can remove the ephemera right on the page and then put things back in the pockets. That's why removable ephemera is fantastic, because it doesn't have to interfere with your writing, but gives you extra writing space. Right. Ooh, trying to line it line it up on the edge when it's a bit curly and warped. Oh, that's okay. I'm going to have to trim it down because you've got something's not straight somewhere. Probably my cutting, but oh well, it's okay. It's okay, friends. Oh yeah, I can see that must have been the edge of the page and it wasn't straight. I assumed it was straight, but it's not. So we'll just give it a quick trim down. Right, just going to trim it with the guillotine. Straighten it up. There we go. Okay, a bit curly with the glue. I do like rounded corners, so let's go ahead and round the corners. I might actually do it this way round because that glue is not dry. I can't abide by little fragments on my work surface. They've got to go in the bin. Okay, so going to check size now that I've done all that. Beautiful. I think I want it this way up though. The book pages go every which way, but there's more that goes this way. So I am going to use it that way. Now, what am I going to decorate it with? I think maybe these flowers are now too small for this. You know, either they're too big or they're too small. You know, it's hard finding the perfect thing, isn't it? Perfect size. I mean, we don't need to go floral. We could go something completely different. I'm wondering also about a bit of napkin, just to give it that colour. Oh goodness, that's ripping weirdly. I think that would be really pretty. Okay, so I'm going to glue directly onto the journal card and just kind of estimate where the glue needs to go. And then we can always go and add some under the edges if we've missed a bit. And what we've gone outside the bounds of where the serviette goes, it will dry. And it will dry clear, so not a huge deal. Carefully pressing it down, and I don't want to completely flatten it because the serviette has a sort of bubbly texture to it, and I don't want to remove all that texture. I want to retain that because it's quite interesting and it's very soft. So I don't want to, on the paper bag I did smooth it down quite firmly, so most of that texture is lost, but on this I want to retain it because this is something that you'll handle, unlike the pocket where you're not really going to be touching it so much. So it wasn't so important. Right. It's a bit sticky on the front while that glue dries, so I'm going to end up with sticky fingers. Nothing new there. Had the story this morning from beautiful Kelly girl. She's our middle cat, for those who don't know, and she came in, had breakfast and went straight back out, but she didn't really want to go out. It was just other cats around that she made her uncomfortable, so she went straight out. But I knew she didn't really want to go, so like 10 minutes later I could hear her meowing. It was like, I rushed outside. It was like, what's going on? Where is she? Couldn't find her. She didn't come when I called. Came back inside and straight away she was meowing at me again. She was up in the ceiling doing the, oh, I can't get down. I'm stuck. I don't know how to get down. Come save me. So I went out the front of the house because they get in through some tiles at the front of the house out onto the window ledge. Whatever they called, not the window ledge at the bottom, but the bit that goes over top of the window. And I called her and she came racing out through the gap in the tiles and then started meowing at me. It's like, well, you got up there, you know how to get down. I can't get up there and get you. So, and then I just had to walk away and leave her to it. And I haven't heard her. I heard her once after that, and then I haven't heard her since. So either she's just settled up there, curled up there, or she's come down and gone and sleeping somewhere else. I don't know. But we get that from both our girl cats. That's quite funny. They will swear black and blue that they don't know how to get down and they're stuck. Right, do I want the white flowers or do we want to have a look, see what else we've got? I think I'm liking the yellow. There's a lot of yellow in those white flowers. The centers are yellow. I don't think I want to sort of introduce a lot of pink or red or anything. So this is the same one, just to give you an idea. This is the wrongly printed one. This is the correctly printed one. You see the difference? Quite a substantial difference. I'm actually getting reasonably low on these. There's a lot I have used. It's quite pretty. Do I like it better than that though? It's about the same size. No, I like that one. Let's just go with that one. Let's stop mucking around and checking out all the choices. This time I'm going to ink. Because we're creating a focal point on a journal card, so it needs a bit more standing out, I think. Do I want to lay anything else up before I put it down? See, I'm thinking, do I want to put a number in behind it? That could be quite fun, rather than over top. I don't think book page, because our base is book page. Okay. If I can find one that's the right colours. That's purple, which is close. But let's have a look, see what else. There's another purple one. And another purple. I seem to have lots of purple ones. Maybe because my purple ink pad is newer. So I went a bit crazy using it. That might be why I've got a lot of purple in here. This one's got blue on it. Blue frame. It's got the red though. No, don't like that one as much. That one's got a bit of yellow in it as well, this one. No, the purple stands out a bit more on that one. Back to this one. Okay, I'm going to go with that one. Anything else I want to put on there? Oops, that was very loud. My apologies. We've got this. This is the red one, but I'm thinking, do we want to put that same hinge, but a bigger one on? We could do. Do we want the blue, the brown, or the yellow? I might not actually have the other colours. Oh, this one. That one will work. There are 3 different sizes, and I think this is the middle size. That could be quite nice up there. So there's a lot of helicopters around at the moment, because there's 5 that are helping to fight the fire that's going at the moment. And as they, need to change out staff or take a break because of their flying hours or grabbing more water or whatever, we hear them quite a bit flying over top of us. So it's interesting hearing the helicopters come and go. Why I just said that is I can hear them now. At least one anyway, I can hear. Not even sure what direction it's heading in, whether it's heading to the fire or away from the fire. But we're not far from the sea here. We're about a 5-minute drive. So they might be filling up with seawater. Don't actually know. Don't know. And of course, helicopters, big winds. Wouldn't be a lot of fun out there for them. Be quite dicey, I think, because it's not too bad today, but there are supposed to be gusts this morning, and then a bit of a respite in the middle of the day, and then back again with the gusty winds, but not as bad as what it was over the weekend or end of last week. End of last week was just awful. The winds were atrocious. I went down the street on Thursday, and just walking across the road, it kept pushing me sideways, and I kept stumbling sideways. It was awful. And my hubby drove to work, and then he rang me and said, you know, there were times when he had used all his strength to keep the car on the road. And I had been praying the entire time, you know, the time that I knew he would be travelling, spent the entire time praying that he would be safe. And I'm glad I did, because as soon as he got to work, he rang me and says, you know, because I had to go out to the food bank and drive in that wind as well. And he's like, be really, really careful, because he experienced the worst gusts about the same place as just before where I needed to go to. So this has got a little bit more of an overhang where that shadow is on the one side of the hinge. So I'm just giving it a quick little trim just to reduce that amount of white showing. This is going to be visible on both sides, this hinge. So I'm going to do the gel pen on both sides. A little bit of colouring. Because this is removable, you could use the faux gems or something. In fact, I'm kind of wondering whether I should, because hubby gave me a couple of packs of adhesive gems for my birthday month, now that I've coloured them in, and they could be quite fun. They're packs that I've had before and I love them. I use them a lot. And he didn't know that, so I was really happy that he gave me a couple of new packs. So these little dotty ones are one of them. The other pack is different shapes, so it's got hearts and squares and triangles and diamonds. But do I want to actually instead use these? Do blue. The blue might be quite nice. And there's different sizes. So I think the smallest, why not? Let's just do it. Now that I've wasted some gel pen. Oh well, if there's any white showing where I don't stick the gems on properly, it won't be white because it will be gold. Gold gel pen. I think this will be super cute. Oh, look at that. Little bit of bling. Oh yeah. So cute. Oh, stuck to my thumb. There we go. So I'm just picking out the smallest of the ones in that blue colour, and that one. And they're actually not super big, they're quite flat. You can still definitely feel them, but they're not really, really bulky. Just nicely rounded crystal stickers, they're called, and I love them. Right, so let's glue that on. Oh, I might want to glue ink around this before I do that though. Yeah, and last week was a terrible week for emergency services. Wednesday there was a big car accident not far from where the food bank is. Involved three cars, a van and a truck and trailer unit. Fortunately, apparently, from what I've heard, there were no bad injuries. But the van was totaled and it's still sitting on the side of the road. It was basically smacked from both directions. So that's going to be a write-off. So that was Wednesday. Thursday, we had a big fire just like probably less than 5 minutes from where I am here. Fortunately, they got it controlled and under control that same day, so that was fine. And then Thursday night, this big forestry fire broke out, which is still going. So they've they'll be exhausted. They'll be absolutely exhausted. Poor guys and girls. There's some female firefighters in the crew, local crews as well. They will just be exhausted. So much going on, and you know, that's 3 big events in, well, 2 days really, and then one of them that's gone on now for, today's Monday as I'm recording, so it's been since 8 o'clock Thursday night that they've been dealing with it, and they had to be present all weekend. So yeah, don't envy them at all. They do amazing work. Right, that's super cute, just with that little hinge out the side to tie in with these hinges. And yes, it does fit within the page. It wouldn't matter if it stuck out a little bit, it would be fine. So simply decorated. It's not, you know, over embellished. We could do a bit more on it, but I'm happy with it as it is. I can always add something else, you know, when I put it in a journal. If there's a bit of ephemera or a word or something that would tie in with the theme of the journal, then I can do that later on. Okay, so that's it for today, guys. A little pocket stack belly band. So we haven't filled the pockets, but we did do something for the belly band. I hope you enjoyed this project. I hope you give it a go. Find something, make something. And also, if you would let me know if you would like to see a video where I construct the bases, because there will be a little difference in that. One, you can choose your size. 2, we don't need to necessarily cover them. So yeah, let me know. Thanks for joining me today. Have a great week. I'll be back tomorrow with, I think, Roxy's weekly challenge tomorrow. So I hope you'll join me for that. Have fun, my friends. See you then. Bye.